여기가 아닌가? 아, 힌트가 이씩이나 올라가죠? 뭐가 60이냐? 야, 두 개만 버려도 여긴가? 벤타츠로 완전히 그 돼 있는 데가 있는데 버퍼 하나 더 먹어요. 아, 여기다. 여기군요. 미친듯한 멘타츠 수. 멘타츠 겁나 왔죠? 됐어. 마지막으로.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been? Crawling
두뇌만 따로 빼놓으면은 다른 사람이 되나봐.
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie? Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you? Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, a, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the... I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
아, 그래요?
Fun? Fun? Is tetanus fun? Is rickets? What about sepsis, huh? The things you do with our body are suicidally dangerous, and if you could silence your glandular... I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to use? Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got... I suppose you're right. Indeed, quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we... I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes.
네가 나라고?
Well, I suppose you... Unfortunately, even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brain. And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently. Once I'm delivered into their clutches, and that is assuming, of course.
진정한 마지막 왕을 찾아서 가죠.
Well, I suppose I. Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you. Right then, off we go. Clyde will be in for a nasty shock.
내가 추가됐어요. 자, 가죠. 아이고, 다리. 아유, 다리 아파. 아유, 젠장. 아이. 괜히 높은 데서 뛰었네. 아유, 다리야. 어? 자, 일단 내 몸부터. 됐겠지? 일단 기본 진단해서 몸을 좀 다 해주고요. 저장하고. 자, 내장 교체. 임플란트 이식. 보너스 HP, AP 회복. 이 마리나 먹어, 씨.
Might I be of service?
하. 내장 교체. 어? 나 뇌 수술. 어? 잠깐만. 일단 퍽 기능을 좀 보죠. 적 저항력, 신체 손상, 충격 저항, 피해량 감쇄. 척추 없음, 힘 1, 심장 없음. 일단 척추 강화 척추폭. 강화 척추폭이 더 괜찮은데? 어우, 2배 효과. 야, 이게 훨씬 더 좋다, 야. 그거 된 게 더 좋네. 좋아요. 고폭탄으로 바꿔놓죠. 다 죽었어요.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts as... I recommend watching your tone. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it. A fight? I've never been in a fight. What? Ah! Colleagues!
잘가시게. 아이고. 사이코에 안정제 히드라 먹고요. 치료 스포제와 히드라까지 먹고 젯 아니다. 야 어떻게 야 이거 폭발 반격이 너무 큰가? 폭발 반격이 너무 큰가? 말로도 해결할 수 있다고요?
The lobotomite.
어? 말 안 걸고 아니 말로 해결할 수 있는 방법이 있다고? 말로 한번 해결을 해보죠.
The lobotomite. I recommend watching. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything. And we have so many questions to ask you. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way. Sorry.
어? 일식 다 모자르는데? 어? 뭐가 된 거 같다? 네, 싸울 필요 없군요.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to
뭔가 약간
one of the
허무한데?
brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others.
아 그래요? 꼬여?
Did I do something wrong?
The lobotomite. You speak the truth. How dare you breathe? That's no...
됐다.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science,
이제 론썸
it had
로드 하나
always
남았군요.
been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The Sync atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
어?
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat. One of them eventually transferred to the Lightwave Dynamics plant, and began a long, unrequited affair with one of the holograms.
The Sync continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the
야,
place clean.
싱크대 얼마나 대단...
Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons leading into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself.
힉스 빌리지?
It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past, they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science was a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries, to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
이 올드월드 블루스는 올드월드는 빅 마운틴, 여기는 브라더후드 오브 스틸이 굉장히 좋아하겠다.
And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
하나의 길이 남았대요. 론썸 로드. 자, 문해법 이렇군요. 브레인레스. 큰네.